Every day, thousands of people hit the road heading towards their dreams. But sometimes those dreams collide with a harsh reality. Auto accidents with 18-wheelers can change lives in an instant. That's why you need the experience and expertise of St. Martin and Bork. With over 50 years of experience, St. Martin and Bork have fought for justice for the victims of truck accidents.
If you've been in a wreck with an 18-wheeler, know your rights.
Call St. Martin and Bork today to schedule your free consultation.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. That cold weather came through Louisiana and it's touching our area, but it was a brutal night for people trying to stay warm. Over the state, the fire marshals reported that there were 3 overnight fires that resulted in 6 fatalities around the state of Louisiana. Here to talk a little more about the cold weather, what we can do to protect ourselves. Mike Palmer is the fire prevention chief of Bayou King Fire Department. So Mike, thanks so much for being with us. That's a brutal night statistically for any state, but to lose 6 people like that.
It's a tragedy. At this point, the state for the year is at 10 fire fatalities already, but last night, 6 is pretty out of the ordinary, but fires always tick up when the weather gets cold. Right. But the fatalities at Winsboro was a family of 4, including small children. Abbeville was a single fatality, and Shreveport. So the time is now to raise the alarm. The fire marshal's sending out the signal, so we're trying to get everybody aware.
Yeah, and look, I mean, we talk about it every year, and you guys do all kind of prevention, but you could see it coming. You could see it coming like that cold front, that you know there's going to be somebody that it's just a matter of fact. But you guys are doing everything you can to kind of prevent these things. Some of them are fires. I don't know if any of them are carbon monoxide, but these fires, you can see it coming. People just trying to stay warm. Huh?
Yeah, and people will do anything pretty much to stay warm, but you can still do it safely. I mean, there's a way to protect you and your family, especially with space heaters. If you have to use a space heater, you need to keep a distance at least 3 feet from your furniture, your blankets. Worst thing that could happen is a blanket fall off the bed on top of the space heater. They're not made to be plugged into extension cords. They draw too much current. And we've had here in Terrebonne several extension cords catch fire from heaters. So it needs to be plugged directly into the wall. Do not use your stove. And if you do have to use your oven or stove, we kind of understand, but you can't leave it unattended.
Right.
None of this stuff should be left unattended.
Right. And look, I mean, it's a fact. Some people turn on their oven, just leave the door open and go to sleep trying to get some warmth. It's particularly like if you're in a raised building, where it's cold underneath. We were talking about space heaters. We grew up with that,
yep.
Right? You'd run to your bathroom. I remember putting a blanket on top, not overnight, but just to warm up the blanket so you could put it on. So anybody's trying to do things, so you understand it, but there are so many ways to keep safe. One of the ways is to install smoke alarms, and that's where you guys come in. So you can call anybody in Terrebonne Parish, any fire department, and they actually have smoke alarms that they'll come install for people?
Terrebonne Parish, I've checked with all the fire departments, and we've sent out an email just to ensure that everyone has them. You can call any of the fire departments for your area.
This is a list. And you can also get this online as well.
Right. And we will come out and put them in for you in the proper places. They need to be in the rooms where you sleep. That's the most important. The sleeping rooms is what the federal guideline says. Not over the stove, because that's going to cause false alarms and problems. And every floor of the house. So if you have a multi-level house, it needs to be on both floors.
So tell me about that and the fire alarms. And so you guys will actually come to your house and install them. And you got a bunch of them, right?
Yes, the state got a gift from Lowe's Home Improvement, $35,000, and they're in the process of being distributed throughout the state to the fire departments.
Right.
The safest way to do it is for us to go out and put it in. So that's part of the program. And we make sure it's installed properly in the right place. and that it's working before we leave.
Right.
These are smoke alarms that do not require battery change. They're good for 10 years. They're sealed up, so you can't even get to the battery. So it's pretty effortless once you call us and get it put in.
And y'all not looking for anything else. You're just putting it up. You just put it up. You're not
Right.
checking to see if they're in codes or
Nope.
anything.
Nope.
Now, speaking
It's
of
your home.
code, we all had to deal with roofs and a lot of walls that were, after Ida. So a lot of times if you do sheetrock work, you might not put up a new smoke detector.
If they had to take your sheetrock, the smoke alarms probably went in the front yard with the sheetrock.
With everything
So
else.
they're gone.
Right.
So it's time to take a look and make sure you have them. And if you don't, give us a call.
Yeah. So we talked about space heaters too, and we looked at that graphic as well. That seems to be a lot of the problems here too, right? Is people put blankets. I didn't realize that when you're talking about extension cords. So the extension cords aren't strong enough for that current.
Any heat producing appliance is the way we say it. Any heat producing appliance should not use an extension cord. They're designed to be plugged directly into the outlet.
Yeah.
And that's the safest way to do it to prevent it from overheating and starting a fire.
Okay. So this time of year, what's the best way for people to make sure that they're safe as we get into this cold weather for probably 10 days?
Make sure you have a space heater if you need it that turns off if it tips over. Keep it away from everything. Plug it directly into the wall. If you have to leave, you need to turn it off. There's no reason to leave it on unattended when you're not home. Same thing with the oven and the fireplace. A lot of people have fireplaces, and that does warm your home pretty well. But if you leave, you need to make sure it's
All
extinguished
right.
and it's gone.
And then if you have a gas heater, that in your fireplace, you got to make sure the flame's going too, right?
Yeah, the flame is out, and it's a good idea to get a carbon monoxide alarm too.
Yeah. Those, and a lot of times they'll sell them as the combos now too, right?
They do have them at the home improvement stores with both together.
All right. Well, again, anybody in Terrebonne Parish can call their fire department. They'll come and check your house and put up extinguishers. So that's a great program. Mike Palmer, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be right back with more Bayou Time right after this.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.